We don't have any late items. We don't have any late items.
Yep. All right. Cool.
Thanks, Terry.
Well, that is unfortunate. So a motion for adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Councillor Armstrong, Councillor Kipp, discussion, all those in favor? Unanimous. Motion for the adoption of the minutes 2018 July 11 at 9 a.m. Councillor Thorpe, Councillor Armstrong, all those in favor? Good to go. Presentations, none. Reports, travel assistance grant, Nanaimo Baseball Association, Minor Baseball Association, Mosquito Pirates. Mary Smith. And she is coming to 3.
How about we just move the motion? And I think it's, I don't think you need to make a presentation. I would suggest, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So I make a motion.
Councillor
I'm
Kipp.
awarded.
Councillor Armstrong, seconded. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Travel assistance grant, Nanaimo Minor Baseball Association, Mosquito Pirates A.
Move the motion.
B. Second. Councillor Kipp, Councillor Armstrong. Discussion. All those in favor? Passed. Travel assistance grant, Nanaimo Minor Baseball Association, Tadpole Pirates.
Move the motion.
Councillor Kipp, Councillor Armstrong. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? Unanimous again. Travel assistance grant, Nanaimo District Lacrosse Pee Wee A.
I'm moving these. I'm not related to the Nanaimo Minor Lacrosse Association, other than a supporter. And I'm moving these as I'm the next, what do you call it, the acting mayor. So that's why I'm moving. If somebody else would like to move some of these, they're welcome to. No, I'm happy to move them, as I say. I'm moving them.
Okay, Councillor Kipp and Councillor Armstrong. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? And moving on to E. Travel assistance grant, Nanaimo District Lacrosse Pee Wee C.
Move the motion.
Councillor Armstrong, Councillor Kipp. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? Quarterly purchasing report, single and sole source, instances of non-compliant purchases and purchases in excess of $250,000. To be introduced by Jane Rush.
Good morning.
Thank you. You're on.
Okay. The recommendation in front of the Finance and Audit Committee.
No, it needs to be pulled over to her. It should be on.
Hello? The recommendation in front of the Finance and Audit Committee is that you accept the report in front of you, which is the quarterly report Q2 for the single source and sole source purchases in excess of $250,000 and instances of non-compliant purchases. The dated report is August 8th.
Councillor Armstrong.
Yeah, I'll move the motion to put it on the table.
Discussion.
We'll have discussion.
Councillor Armstrong.
Just in reading the report, you state that there's not a staff capacity to do a full detailed report. Do you anticipate that's going to be changed in the near
Do you have
future?
your hand up?
We were running with 2 buyers and one admin staff and myself. As you know, the purchasing policy was adopted in February of 2017, and it has it's created a mountain of work for the purchasing department. We now have 3 buyers, but one is sort of on a limited term basis. Her tenure will end on December 31st. So it will be an ongoing challenge for the purchasing department to meet all the requirements of the policy.
Thank you.
Councillor Brennan.
Given those remarks, I'm concerned about the policy itself. So I'm thinking that we should see this and then actually ask for some sort of evaluation of the policy.
Okay.
Councillor Kipp. It's not coming out.
Well, thank you very much for the report. I think we have had a validation of it, and it's called the Deloitte report. And the Deloitte report and our core service review showed a lot that our purchasing needed updating. It needed a complete overhaul. We had a whole bunch of problems with it, and I'm not certain how deep that has gone into the corporation, of who's read it, how it is. And again, even that shows that 10% of our SAP is available to staff, SAP. Only 10% is used. So I'm concerned with our purchasing, and I have been for a decade, about this. It took a long time to get the core service review. It took a long time to get the Deloitte report. And it's the core service review 2, part 2, has sat on the table since December. So I have a concern with that. So I believe there is an audit done of the department and some of the work, and it just needs to be checked off with what has to be done in that report. I could dig it up right now and bring it all up, but I think staff is aware of it, council is aware of it, and it needs to be implemented. So if there's a staffing problem, I would suggest it might be an education on SAP, quick, fast education on SAP, so that it doesn't take a year to prepare a report, say on the PS 3255 or 4. It doesn't take a year to get those put into our financials. So that's my point on this purchasing policy, because I've seen concerns with it for a long time. I've seen stacked purchasing orders on the same day. In fact, on August 8th, when they did the Colliery Dam thing a few years back, they stacked purchasing orders so it didn't go over the 250. So I've had those complaints before, and it's taking way too long to clean them up. Thank you.
Councillor Armstrong.
And motions are made for those things to be put in place by this council. So if this council wants to change them, then bring your motion to the table in the public, and we'll make the changes in public. Thank you.
Yeah. Councillor Armstrong.
Thank you. I think as we have a new CAO in place, that perhaps we can defer this for a point of time so that he can look at the policy to see if there is a way that it could make it easier for staff, or if not, perhaps we need to look at hiring somebody else, because my concern is that because we're not been able to check the non-compliance because there's a alleged staff capacity issue. So I would like to make a motion to defer this and give our interim CAO time to review the policy to see if there's maybe.
Second the motion.
Thank you.
The motion on the floor is to receive this.
Oh,
The
good point. Thank you.
recommendation,
Sorry.
the report.
But, well, if I may talk on that, then it's just going forward to council
Yes.
as a received report. And
Yes.
many times in the committee, when the received report goes to council, you don't even know how long the committee has debated the issue, how long they've looked at it. So for now, we would have talked about this for 10 minutes, and we receive it, and then it goes forward to council without any review. And this committee's job is to send the review back to staff before it goes to council, so it can arrive at council's table and have limited debate. That's the idea of the committee we're sitting at right now, is to limit the debate of financial issues at the council table. If we don't want to do that, then let's formally cancel this committee and move these debates to public. Because it's supposed to be a public meeting. We're talking about finances of the committee. It's at 9 o'clock in the morning on a summer day. It's not even fair to the public in my mind.
The motion on the table is just the recommendation at this point. It's not the policy or anything else, so personally, I don't have a problem with the recommendation at this point,
And then I'll-
but
So after
Councillor
that, I'll
Armstrong?
make a second motion then to defer it back, or refer the report back to our interim CAO to look at and make a recommendation back. I guess it would be back to the Finance and Audit Committee first? Sorry.
Mr. Chair, if I may, procedurally, I would suggest to deal with the first motion and then second. If there's a second motion
Yeah.
for referral, that's in order, if you wish to do it that way.
Works. Any further discussion on the first motion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Councillor Kipp opposed, and Councillor
No,
Armstrong.
make a motion.
Oh.
Sorry.
Councillor
I'd like to
Armstrong?
make a motion that we have our interim CAO review the policy to see if there's any efficiencies that can be made or recommendations to come back to the Finance and Audit Committee.
A second.
Any discussion with that? Councillor Hong?
Can I ask the CEO what he has on his plate right now? This is the least of my worries. So if I'm gonna take him off something that he needs to focus on this, that's a waste of time. So.
Didn't
Are
give
you
a date.
expecting a date, or is this gonna add to his list? Because like I said, this is the least of my priority right now. So, it's a question for the CEO.
Through the chair to Councillor Hong. Wow, I'm drinking out of a fire hose right now in terms of the things that I'm dealing with, and the lion's share of the issue has been the homeless thing, and this week, of course, it's the fire. So there's these things that come along, but I've been getting briefings on things, and this is, it depends on the level of depth. We can come back certainly with an update and in terms of how effective the policy is, and there are some growing pains, I've been told, some the addition of some bureaucracy. So if we can find ways to streamline that would be helpful and still achieve the transparency, I think, and accountability that I think Council is probably looking for with this policy. So certainly be in a position to report back to you at your next meeting in terms of the implementation of that policy and so forth. So, but it wouldn't be an exhaustive review. It would be an update with some comments about things, and I think you're looking for that clarity.
Councillor Armstrong?
I agree with what Councillor Hong's saying. I don't think there's any great urgency. I just would like to see a review, like even if it's 3 to 4 months, because we can't change it. So if he gets the opportunity within the next 3 to 4 months, that would be great. If not, can report back that, due to whatever. My intent was not for it to be back at the next meeting, but as a secondary issue to be reviewed as time permits. If you want to amend that, that's fine with me.
Any other speakers? Councillor Kipp?
And all I'm seeing is that this would be an update to what has been requested from council, post-Deloitte, post-core service review 1. And I'm just looking for updates of what we're achieving. And if you think finance purchasing isn't important, I believe what is our total purchasing for a year? Does someone have a figure off the top of their head?
Expenditures are about.
If you use capital investment, it's into the $40 million range. It's a hugely important thing, especially with today's pricing and the way things are busy. So busy on the street right now, it's hard to get a quote. I'm getting garages turned down for building because people don't want to build a $60,000 24 by 24 garage, right? Because people are just pricing things out of this world. It's even hard to find good, talented people right now because everybody's busy. So for me, this is just a constant reporting. And the homeless shelter and the fire, those are all to be dealt with by people. We shouldn't even be sending an emails thanking people right now. It's so busy for Jake and them, and the comment, thank you for doing your work, is just added stress to everybody, and we're asking for on-the-fly decisions. So for me, this is just a reporting on what we've asked for over time. If the council chooses to change what we've asked for, then I'm sure our CAO will bring that back for us. And when he checks the list and says we can accomplish this, this. There was a time-framed list created for all of these things, spreadsheets done with the estimated timeframes and that disappeared from most of the information. So all I'm asking for is that we bring everything up to standards, we have less non-compliance, we're using our systems that we've paid millions for, the SAP and that, and that our contracts are fair and honest. I've had problems with the contract language before, or the manipulation of language. So for me, it's important. to say this is not important. The homeless thing to me is we should have Leonard Krog and them doing something, and we're not doing it. That's a separate issue. And then fire, man, I understand fires and how they work pretty well. But so for me, this is just asking for reporting from staff. It shouldn't tie up a pile of time. It should be being done. And that's the trouble I find sometimes is crisis management takes over. All of our energy is spent without documentation, without things. And to get reports is problematic. So all I'm asking for is reports of where we're at with our Deloitte, our core service, and core service 2. And that's why I'm talking about this today at the finance meeting. So thank you.
Councillor Thorpe.
Thanks, Chair. I'll support Councillor Armstrong's motion, and I think she's summarized it well, and I think our interim CAO understands that it's not a top priority. It's just something to be put on his radar to look at and examine when he has the opportunity, and to give us his feedback on it when possible. Thank you.
Just a comment, I'm not sure if you've read the Deloitte report yet or the core review reports, so I think it could take some time to absorb it. I know we've had this for quite a while and I'm still absorbing it. So I don't think the motion is for any specific time, is it? No, so it's an open-ended motion. Any further discussion? Call a question. All those in favor? Opposed?
Well, opposed to open-ended.
I'm pleased don't include me as voting because I
Yeah.
didn't hear any of the dialogue. I know I'm sitting here, but I didn't hear it. I don't even know what the vote is. So,
Yep.
okay.
No worries.
Am I allowed to do that? Say don't include me?
You just enter the room now, that's all.
Yeah.
After
So
the
it
vote.
passes. And
Moves the Nanaimo First Nation
Now that
sewer
he's left the
connection
room.
fee credit agreement.
seconder? Councillor Armstrong.
Question? In reviewing the report, once again, there's a dollar amount of $10. Is that an accurate amount? Through you to staff, sorry.
Through the chair to Councillor Armstrong. I believe that could be an admin, just a paperwork fee, that one. The actual amount of the collection fee for water and sewer will be determined at a later date, but the $10, I believe, is administration fee. So it will be in
Okay.
the hundreds of thousands of dollars, I believe.
Any other,
Yeah, can it follow?
Follow
I just
up.
want to confirm that because,
I can confirm
Yeah.
that for you.
thank you.
any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? None. Motion passes.
I have a follow-up motion.
Council.
Other business. The mayor requested I make a motion. I would like to know all of the money spent from the city towards SFN. And that is for any of the, say, Satson Island, any of the building design, any of the things that have been done for SFN. I thought, it's old information, and I asked for the information, but the mayor requested I make a motion. So I'm making that motion now, that I would like a report on the money over the last few years that has gone to SFN. Can I have a second, or? Oh,
Councillor
second.
Hong seconded. Did you get the motion? Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed?
That's an extra load, I guess, I'm sorry, but I just asked for the information.
No worries. Question period.
Motion to adjourn.
None. Motion to adjourn. Seconder.
Unless you want to go in camera and talk about harassment.
May I just ask one question?
Yeah.
So in my, and I think I had a exchange with you. So all of my F&A meetings are canceled in my calendar. So I don't go back and look and see what Donna sends out for everybody's weekly calendar with vacations, and I'm not here, and I'm there, and I'm, the snowbirds, and only for the mayor. And so every one of my F&A meetings in my calendar are canceled, including this morning, which I sent you a screenshot of. So I made other arrangements for this morning, unfortunately. I got here as soon as I could. And so that's number one. Number two is, I just curious why we wouldn't have this meeting at the SART building, because we pay handsomely for this room and the food and beverage, which to me is excessive. And I'm not being critical. I've said it before. We had a public hearing last Thursday and we had 6 people in the audience and enough food for 40. And we pay a fortune for this room. And I think there's something wrong with that. I'm sorry, but there's just something wrong with that. And that's just a comment. I know we're out of session.
Mr. Chair, through the councillor, on the rescheduling or the change to the calendars that took place, apparently some time ago there was a notice sent to council that there was a change to this meeting, and you had to accept that on your Outlook for it to be automatically put into your calendar. If you didn't do that, then, or if you didn't get that message, then that wouldn't have happened. Secondly, sometimes, and this is not unique to Nanaimo, there are problems with iPhones, especially in terms of syncing with the Outlook. And so there are glitches that sometimes periodically happen. This is not unique to you, and this could possibly be a case that took place here. This is an iPhone Apple problem that's synchronizing with Outlook, and it's known. So that could be a scenario there. But the other thing is the fallback is some of these other notices that are sent out the weekly by Donna from the mayor's office and so on. So that's there to help if there's any difficulties there. And so we want to make sure perhaps what we can do is just send out a reminder for the remainder of the schedule for this and other committees, just to make sure that everybody's in sync. So apparently there was not a cancellation of the meeting. There was a change that took place some time ago, long before I was here. And like I said earlier this morning, you folks are the customers in terms of needing, so if we're not meeting your needs, we need to do that in terms of even the scheduling. So apologize for that.
No, it's fine. No, it's not your fault. And even yesterday when Jan was sending messages to me, I sent her back a message that I can't open any of these.
Okay.
She said, oh, there is no content. I went, oh, okay, there's no content. Then why am I getting stuff sent to me? And I didn't say, I wasn't being sarcastic. I said, well, if there's no content, anyway. And Outlook, sorry. So Outlook, my Outlook account, I don't have an Outlook account. Maybe through the city, and I've gone to IT for 10 years because my Outlook account, if you want to, it's not mine, I don't have one. Somebody's created a Billy B 7777 at outlook.com, and I get hacked all the time. All the time. And I don't have that account, I haven't done that account, I can't get rid of that account, IT can't get rid of that account. And so Outlook, I've never dealt with in my life except when I get hacked. And it happens all the time, that my accounts are getting hacked all the time. And to me, it's not a coincidence. There's more to it than that.
Can I go back on the scheduling? I think the transition from an older style council who read all their agendas on the weekend and showed up on Monday to a council meeting is still the model for scheduling. And I believe the council needs to move into a business model where one day a week is a business day. And you show up and you do your work for an 8-hour day. And you show up at work and then you maybe have a meeting that night. And maybe it's a 10-hour day. For some, maybe that's too long, but maybe it's an 8. So what's happened is we schedule a Monday and then we schedule a Tuesday and an agenda comes out Tuesday for the following week. And then we get an RDN agenda and it comes out and there's confusion built within the system of timing. So timing changes, and that is not just an iPhone glitch. It's a runaround schedule. It's no one checked the RDN schedule when there's checking my schedule for a counselor. No one checks public works schedule when they're booking something sometime. All of a sudden, council's double booked on 1 minute, and then the rest of the day is free. So I think it needs to transition into more of a business model council, where we don't have to run in on Thursday and Wednesday and Mondays or Tuesday evenings because of a change. I understand, critical meeting, show up, something's going on, you get a policy briefing, make the policy, and they go out and fight the fire. But so I think it needs to transition to a more organized schedule, not 17 people making the schedule, but 1 or 2 people making the schedule as directors of that department, and it has to confirm. When files can be kept on me, but yet they can't send me a notice for a meeting, whoa, the files are right outside your office. So for me, it's confusion sometimes manifests destiny. I've been here a long time, I've seen it. Computers are important to me, I live off them, I can't live without them. I get hacked, I got hacked the other day on Facebook. But so for me, it's scheduling. It's a corporate issue where council runs around, and if we're the client, if we're the customer, I don't want to run around anymore. And no council should. And because I'm not running for council, doesn't mean I'm going away.
Did we ever move that motion? We did adjourn? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
No?
I made a motion.
Yeah, all those in favor?
I hope that was recorded.
Opposed? Thank you. Meeting